Across the heart of Africa, nearly 1.5 million wildebeests surge forward in an endless wave, moving from the Serengeti toward the Masai Mara Reserve. Over 5 million light-coated cob antelopes roam the boundless grasslands linking South Sudan with Ethiopia. And close to 20,000 plains zebras embark on a journey of nearly 1,000 kilometers, tracing an ancient cycle that carries them from the Chobe River to the shimmering salt flats of the desert. These are the migrations of the savannah, an epic rhythm of movement and survival. From the legendary treks of East Africa to hidden, little-known routes, these migrations sustain the heartbeat of the continent's wilderness. They are the lifeblood of Africa's wild ecosystems, forever in motion. Before we begin, share with us in the comments where you're watching from. It's always a pleasure to connect with curious minds around the world. Now, let's follow the tracks of survival and explore the secret migrations of the untamed savannah. The rainy season has just kissed the earth, and the plains seem to breathe anew. African elephants leave the sun-scorched grasslands, moving in search of precious water before the drought tightens its grip. Zebras march across hundreds of kilometers, while lions lie in wait along narrow passageways. Behind them, spotted hyenas move silently through the tall grass, watching, patient, hoping to catch a lone wildebeest left behind in this vast, unending struggle for life. Thompson's gazelles follow the trails carved by the herds ahead, always haunted by the shadow of the cheetah, whose unmatched speed can strike at any moment. Crossing savannas, open forests, and wetlands, their migration becomes a living rhythm, the heartbeat that keeps Africa's wilderness alive. Have you ever wondered where those tiny birds that sing on rooftops in springtime go when the summer heat takes over? That simple question remained a mystery for centuries. In ancient Greece, the philosopher Aristotle believed that the red-breasted robin transformed into another bird during summer. In medieval Europe, stories spread of barnacle geese, said to grow from driftwood or from barnacles clinging to the sea. Some even claimed that swallows buried themselves in river mud, sleeping beneath the water through the winter. Today, thanks to telescopes, satellites, and global tracking systems, we know that the truth surpasses the legends. These tiny travelers cross oceans and continents, flying thousands of kilometers toward warmer lands, rich in food and safe enough to endure the season. This is migration, an extraordinary voyage of survival that unfolds with the turning of the seasons and echoes throughout a lifetime. For many species, migration is a genetic instinct, written into their very being. For others, it's a flexible decision, shaped by their physical condition, the weather, or environmental pressures. Yet all share a single purpose: to leave behind what is temporary in search of a place to feed, reproduce, and endure against nature's extremes. This powerful instinct is often triggered by environmental shifts, changes in rainfall, temperature, or the scarcity of food. When the dry season settles and rivers begin to shrink, when fruits and fresh grass disappear, the wild has only one option to move forward or perish. Research has revealed that migratory animals possess remarkable senses that guide their journeys. They can detect the length of daylight, the Earth's magnetic field, the position of the sun, even the scent of the soil, and the direction of the wind. Beyond instinct, social learning plays a vital role. Studies show that migratory birds refine their routes over the years and pass that knowledge to the next generation through collective behavior. Migration is not just an individual act. It is a form of collective intelligence, where a group moves as one living entity to overcome obstacles, find nourishment, and navigate the vastness of the Earth. In the African savanna, the power and fragility of these seasonal movements reveal themselves in all their splendor. Here, infinite plains melt into the horizon, where earth and sky merge under the timeless rhythm of fire, rain, and renewal. Let us begin with the seasonal migration, the most recognizable pattern in the animal kingdom. Following the rains, herds travel in search of green pastures and new life. This great movement is defined as a cyclical annual journey, guided by the changing climate, water, and food supply. Each year, along ancient routes that rarely change, animals retrace paths that span thousands of kilometers, writing once again the eternal story of migration. Ecologists call it seasonal migration, a predictable, cyclical movement that unfolds with the rhythm of the seasons. Its driving force lies in environmental change, most notably the contrast between wet and dry seasons. When the rains arrive, life bursts forth, vegetation flourishes, and new sources of food and fresh water transform the land. But when the rains cease, the grasslands dry, and the herds retreat to safer ground, often returning to the very places they left months before. This phenomenon is deeply intertwined with plant growth and the biological productivity of the land. As vast herds of antelope move across the plains, they graze, trample, and enrich the soil, dispersing organic matter that fuels decomposition and nutrient recycling. In this way, millions of moving bodies act as a living force of renewal, stirring the land and breathing life back into the savanna's soil and grasslands. At the seasonal crossroads where migration routes converge or pause for breeding, the landscape becomes a scene of breathtaking grandeur. Satellite imagery has revealed densities of hundreds of animals per square kilometer, a living tapestry of movement. What makes seasonal migration truly remarkable is the loyalty to the route. The animals do not invent new paths. They return to the same familiar waypoints, guided by extraordinary spatial memory and an ancient bond with the enduring signals of their environment. GPS tracking of antelope herds has shown astonishing precision, individuals returning to the exact same resting grounds year after year, even across vast, featureless terrain, devoid of visible landmarks. Did you know that deep within the floodplains of South Sudan, a silent yet immense migration takes place? It's called the Great Nile Migration, now recognized as the largest land migration on the planet. Over 5 million white-eared cobs, along with some 350,000 tiangs, 350,000 Mongala gazelles, and 160,000 Bahor reedbucks, move seasonally across a region spanning more than 100,000 square kilometers. Their journey stretches from Badingilo National Park to Boma National Park, reaching into Ethiopia's Gambela region. It's a movement driven by the rhythm of rainfall and the renewal of green pastures. The migration occurs twice each year, from January to June, and again from November to the following January, a timeless dance between life, water, and survival. In 2023, data from an aerial survey conducted by African Parks and the University of Wyoming confirmed that this movement surpasses even the Serengeti migration in scale. Unlike the dramatic journeys filled with predator-prey confrontations, this migration plays a more harmonious ecological role, dispersing seeds, enriching the soil, and maintaining the biological balance between species. Local predators such as lions, leopards, and hyenas also depend on this steady flow of migratory animals for their survival. However, not all migrations follow the predictable rhythm of rain and sunlight, nor do they lead to fixed destinations. Some species exhibit a more fluid form of migration, where the borders between ecosystems become open gateways, and each year a new route is drawn. This remarkable phenomenon is known as interbiome migration, the movement from one ecological zone to another to take advantage of changing conditions across time and space. These migrations don't always begin on a specific date. Some species move when springs dry up, others depart when grasslands burn, and some are driven by instinct to reach dense forests for breeding. Their journeys follow the rhythm of need, the living heartbeat of the environment itself. There are no fixed routes or repeated destinations. Each stop is determined by soil moisture, vegetation density, mineral levels in the water, and subtle reproductive signals. To achieve such journeys, animals require incredible endurance and navigation skills. Adapting to two distinct ecosystems demands subtle, physiological adjustments, digestive systems capable of handling varied diets, thermoregulation suited to different levels of humidity and temperature, and above all, spatial memory sharpened by lived experience. When it comes to migration that combines intelligence, spatial memory, and life experience, few creatures rival the mighty African savanna elephant. When the grasses turn brittle and the last traces of water vanish from rocky pools and cracked riverbeds, the elephants begin their movement. They are among the rare animals capable of redesigning their survival routes each year, not through genetic programming, but through memory, learning, and social transmission. Every herd is led by a matriarch, the eldest and wisest female, often over 40 years old. She remembers every hidden waterhole beneath layers of stone, every grove that will bear fruit after the first rains, and the precise moment to depart, whether to escape searing heat or to avoid human conflict. Research by Save the Elephants in Samburu, Kenya, has revealed that a matriarch can recall more than 100 water sources, including those that appear dry but refill when underground currents rise. A single herd can travel between 50 and 80 kilometers in one night to reach water, even when no visible clue marks its presence. Young elephants learn these vital routes by following the matriarch, a living classroom of survival, passed down step by step. In Mali's Gourma region, elephants have been recorded migrating between the savanna and the semi-desert of the Sahel, following an arc-shaped route stretching up to 32,000 kilometers, one of the longest ever documented for the species. In these lands, water is scarce, vegetation sparse, and the climate relentless with temperatures surpassing 48 degrees Celsius. Survival is no accident. The elephants choose paths that cross salt flats, dry riverbeds hiding water beneath the sand, and rocky shelters rich in mineral clays. These destinations are scattered across multiple biomes, from dry savannas and acacia thickets to gallery forests along the Niger River and open woodlands at the foothills of mountains. Each powerful step opens new trails through the brush, forming corridors later used by zebras, antelopes, and countless other species. When they encounter a dry riverbed, elephants dig deep with their trunks and feet, releasing fresh water hidden below the sand. These makeshift wells soon become gathering points for monkeys, birds, and even predators. True, fleeting oases amid the arid lands of Africa. To journey across such vast distances, elephants must overcome both natural challenges and human-made obstacles. They sometimes cross the blackened scars of wildfires, where embers still smolder beneath a thin layer of soil. They avoid places where marabou stalks circle low, a silent warning of carcasses or scarce water nearby. And they must navigate around farms and fences, human barriers that now intersect ancient migratory corridors once traveled by their ancestors for thousands of years. Yet African elephants are not merely survivors, they are the guardians of the savanna. Their movements link ecosystems together, helping countless other species endure the harsh dry season and ensuring that when the rains return, the grasslands still hold the heartbeat of life needed to welcome them back. While elephants may travel hundreds of kilometers to connect distant water sources, the African buffalo follows a different path. Their journeys consist of shorter, deliberate movements, refined over millennia of alternating rains and droughts. They can detect the faintest change in the scent of grass or the moisture carried on the wind, moving collectively through neighboring lands, constantly redrawing their map of survival without ever abandoning their home range. These resilient grazers are not bound to a single route. African buffalo thrive in a remarkable range of habitats, from open grasslands and acacia woodlands to seasonal floodplains and patchwork landscapes where shrubs, meadows, and wetlands intertwine. During the wet season, when rain revives the plains and vegetation flourishes, the herds scatter widely to make full use of the abundance. But as the dry season takes hold, when the earth cracks and the grass withers into brittle roots, they retreat to core zones where moisture still lingers: swamps, rivers, lakes, or hidden pools shaded by low canopies. In South Africa's Kruger National Park, GPS tracking data reveals that African buffalo herds travel an average of 3 to 4 kilometers each day. In Tanzania's Ruaha National Park, their average daily movement rises to about 4.6 kilometers, reaching nearly 7 by the end of the dry season. Occasionally, young adults have been recorded traveling up to 95 kilometers in just a few days, far beyond the herd's usual range. These rare expeditions often lead to better grazing grounds or cleaner water sources, crossing diverse habitats from floodplains to wooded savannas and lush riverine forests. Each year, their routes shift in response to rainfall, river levels, and the quality of forage, a vivid display of their flexibility and adaptation to changing environments. Within these movements, the true strength of the herd lies not only in physical power, but in unity and collective intelligence. Unlike species ruled by a dominant male, buffalo herds make decisions in a strikingly democratic way. When it's time to move, adult females stand and face the direction they believe offers the best prospects, guided by the scent of fresh grass, the distant sound of running water, or the promise of shade beneath dense trees. Each posture acts as a silent vote, and the direction with the most support becomes the chosen path of the herd. Field studies and theoretical models have shown that this decision-making system is common among buffalo herds, allowing them to stay cohesive yet flexible in ever-changing environments. Along their journeys, smaller herds often merge to form vast superherds of up to 2,000 individuals. These massive gatherings act as an extraordinary defensive mechanism, a living fortress made of thousands of sharp eyes, curved horns, and muscular bodies standing united against any threat. The strongest bulls usually patrol the outer edges, serving as living shields, while the center provides a haven for females and calves. However, not all African buffalo populations are migratory. In areas where water and grass remain available throughout the year, some groups stay as residents, while others perform short, seasonal movements. This behavior is known as partial migration, confirmed through GPS data across the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier region and the Caprivi Strip. Even within a single population, multiple strategies can coexist. Depending on rainfall, surface water, and vegetation quality, Across the vast ecological corridors of the Kavango Zambezi, lions move like silent shadows, tracking every motion of their prey. During the rainy season, as buffalo spread through forests and floodplains, a pride's territory can stretch over 700 square kilometers. In the dry months, it shrinks to around 100 to 300 square kilometers, centering around waterholes and floodplains where prey gathers. GPS data from several African reserves reveal that prey availability determines up to 76% of the territory used by lions, followed by proximity to water sources. In Namibia's Etosha National Park, tracking of 14 individuals showed that lions remained close to waterholes for hunting, yet carefully avoided the main tourist routes during the dry season. Across the Serengeti Mara ecosystem, as buffalo follow the rains and the green flush of grass, lions adjust their movements accordingly, favoring terrain that offers natural cover for ambushes, riverbanks, gullies, and rocky outcrops, rather than areas with the highest prey density. The midday sun burns relentlessly over the golden plains. The earth trembles beneath the heavy steps of the advancing buffalo. In the distance, low silhouettes blend into the landscape, gliding through acacia thickets and rolling hills. They are lionesses, the pride's skilled hunters. They never charge head-on. Instead, they fan out in different directions, advancing against the wind so that no scent betrays their presence. Two of them deliberately reveal themselves on the left flank, steering the buffalo toward the ambush point. Suddenly, the silence shatters. A cloud of dust rises as powerful muscles grip the buffalo's side, claws sinking deep to hold on against its furious struggle. One lioness lunges for the throat, locking her jaws tight. Another clamps the muzzle, cutting off its breath. The battle unfolds under the blazing sun, each breath thick with the scent of dust, sweat, and trampled grass. Gradually, the buffalo yields under the combined force of the pride. Behind them, a dominant male keeps watch. His thick mane serves as armor, shielding his neck from deadly horns, while his sharp gaze scans the horizon for intruders. Rarely leading the hunt, these males are nonetheless vital to the pride's survival. Weighing over 200 kilograms, with massive neck muscles and a regal mane, he embodies strength, deterrence, and dominance, a living emblem of power against rival coalitions. They also possess a remarkable tool, the roar, deep and resonant. It can carry across 8 kilometers, marking territory and keeping the pride connected. Yet, even apex predators are bound by nature's limits. Scarcity of prey or lack of access to seasonal water sources can bring hunger, conflict, and the slow decline of the pride's health. For this reason, lions don't blindly follow migrating herds. Instead, they remain alert to every movement of their prey between habitats. They rarely abandon their territory, but they know how to expand, shrink, and reshape it with each passing season, reading every track, every scent, every sign left on the land. Among all seasonal journeys, none compares to the Great Migration, one of the most spectacular wildlife events on Earth. Across the Serengeti ecosystem, spanning more than 30,000 square kilometers between Tanzania and Kenya, an ocean of life begins to move. Millions of blue wildebeests, joined by hundreds of thousands of zebras and Thompson's gazelles, set off on an epic 800-kilometer circuit in search of water, fresh grazing, and safe breeding grounds. It is a circle of life that defines the rhythm of East Africa. Leading this monumental exodus is often the Grant's zebra, the silent pioneer of the plains. The smallest and most numerous of Africa's zebras, it bears narrow, evenly spaced stripes and thrives across the grassland ecosystems of eastern Africa. Unlike wildebeests, zebras do not follow the reins blindly. Their movement follows strategy and memory, guided by clearer objectives and centuries of instinct refined by experience. Within the Serengeti Masai Mara ecosystem, an estimated 200,000 to 300,000 Grant's zebras join the migration each year. Their leadership is no coincidence. Thanks to their hindgut fermentation system, zebras can digest coarse, fibrous grasses that wildebeests typically avoid. As their sharp, scythe-like teeth trim the tall, dry blades, they expose the tender green shoots beneath, providing the perfect fresh grazing for the herds that follow. There exists a silent coordination between these two species, a perfect balance, where each benefits from the landscape without direct competition. Grant's zebras are built for endurance: long legs, tough hooves, powerful hearts, and an efficient sweating system that allows them to travel for hours under Africa's relentless sun. Their distinctive striped pattern does more than decorate their bodies. It helps them blend into the light and shadow of the savanna while subtly regulating body temperature through microscopic air currents between the stripes. They also possess an exceptional memory of the land. They know which riverbanks are safest, where crocodiles lie in wait, and which plains promise grass instead of stone. This blend of instinct and memory weaves a living network of knowledge within the herd. It's as if each zebra carries a fragment of an ancestral map, updated with every journey. When they reach rivers like the Mara or Grumeti, the zebras are often the first to leap into the water. They do not hesitate, and their courage becomes a signal for the herds behind them. In a mega herd of millions, such small acts of instinct create vast collective patterns, maintaining order in what could otherwise descend into chaos. The social structure of zebras also plays a vital role in keeping the herd safe. Each family unit usually consists of a dominant male, several adult females, and their young. During the Great Migration, these small groups gather into flexible clusters, forming a vast sea of moving stripes. When traveling alongside wildebeests, both species benefit. Zebras rely on their sharp vision and hearing to sense danger, while wildebeests are highly alert to scent and movement. Together, they greatly reduce the chances of ambush from lions, leopards, or spotted hyenas. Even so, the Great Migration is far from an easy journey. It's estimated that up to 250,000 animals die every year fallen to thirst, hunger, exhaustion, or predators. For the blue wildebeests, the most numerous travelers, survival depends on one timeless rule: the strength of life in numbers. Between January and March, on the southern plains of the Serengeti near Ngorongoro, when rain nourishes the short grass, around 500,000 calves are born within just a few weeks. This synchronized birth is an evolutionary strategy flooding the savanna with new life and overwhelming predators. When so many young arrive at once, the odds of survival increase. Lions, hyenas, and leopards may be swift and clever hunters, but they can't take them all. In the heart of the Serengeti, a newborn blue wildebeest, its pale golden coat still damp, opens its wide, dark eyes, instinctively alert. Within minutes, its slender, trembling legs lift it from the ground. The scent of fresh grass fills the air as the mother's warmth surrounds it. A soft bleat breaks the silence, and within 15 minutes, the calf is already running beside her. But if it fails to gain strength quickly, even the largest herd won't be enough to protect it. Predators never wait lions close in on stragglers. African wild dogs lurk nearby, and a solitary spotted hyena cuts through the herd, focused on one target, the golden calf. The mother defends her young fiercely, thrusting her sharp horns and driving the attacker aside. By April, the long rains soak the western Serengeti, turning the plains lush again while the southern grasslands begin to dry. The wildebeests move west, then slowly push northward. From space, satellite images show dark rivers of movement stretching across the savanna like living veins flowing through the green skin of the continent. By July, the migration reaches the mighty Grumeti and Mara, rivers home to the most dangerous challenges of all. The waters run deep and fast, hiding Nile crocodiles up to 5 meters long, waiting silently below the surface. When the wildebeests plunge into the river, chaos explodes roaring, splashing, and the echo of snapping jaws on both banks. In just a few hours, thousands perish. Yet those who survive continue northward toward the Masai Mara, where greener grass and fresh pools await after the rains. From September to October, the herds rest for a while in these lands, but peace is short-lived. Spotted hyenas return silent and strategic, taking positions across the plains. Between July and October, when exhausted wildebeests struggle to cross the rivers, the hyenas simply wait along the shores. The weakest fall behind, and in their effort to rejoin the herd, opportunity arises. As the sun sets over the Mara, the eerie laughter of hyenas echoes across the grasslands, a signal that the clan is gathering. A young wildebeest, weary from its crossing, stands vulnerable and alone. Hyenas detect movement and scent from kilometers away. Then, they charge. Their powerful legs drive them to speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour. They don't hunt alone, they coordinate with precision. Some chase, others block, and a few move silently to flank the prey, an ancient tactic honed through thousands of years of evolution. When the distance closes, powerful jaws exerting up to 500 newtons of bite force clamp onto the hind legs or belly. The young wildebeest collapses, and within moments, the clan finishes the hunt. In many regions, up to 95% of a hyena's diet comes from animals they hunt themselves. And when carcasses remain scattered across the plains after failed crossings, long after lions and vultures have taken their share, the hyenas stay behind, cracking bones and consuming even the dense marrow others can't digest. This remarkable ability makes them nature's cleanup crew, preventing disease, keeping the savanna free of decay, and returning vital minerals to the soil. By November, with the arrival of the short rains, the southern Serengeti transforms again. The landscape changes color, and the blue wildebeests begin their silent turn southward. There are no orders, no leaders, only instinct and unity. Together, they retrace the same ancient roots, following paths shaped by countless generations in the eternal rhythm of life across the Serengeti. Ecologists have confirmed this remarkable pattern through GPS tracking devices placed on wildebeests. Their sense of direction requires no visible landmarks, guided instead by environmental cues and an extraordinary spatial memory. Even more fascinating, not all wildebeests take part in the migration. Some smaller groups remain year-round near reliable water sources or move only short distances, sometimes no more than a few dozen kilometers. This shows that migration is not an unchangeable instinct, but a flexible strategy shaped by the environment. Genetic studies reveal that migratory wildebeest populations maintain high genetic diversity, showing no signs of inbreeding. Despite heavy losses during the journey, gene flow remains strong. Biologically, this endless cycle is not just a movement across land, it is a living current of adaptation, survival, and evolution. Once the plains have been prepared by the grazing jaws of Grant's zebras and blue wildebeests, the next participants arrive, the Thompson's gazelles. Within the Serengeti Masai Mara ecosystem, these elegant animals, affectionately called Tommies, form the third pillar of the great herbivore migration. Their population fluctuates between 174,000 and over 400,000 individuals, depending on the year and rainfall patterns. What makes them remarkable is not their numbers, but their ability to thrive within the ecological balance shaped by those that come before them. As zebras cut the tall and coarse grass and wildebeests consume the middle layer, they reveal the true delicacy's tender shoots, green buds, and soft leaves close to the soil. That's when the Thompson's gazelles step in. Their selective feeding not only ensures efficient survival, but also promotes ecological harmony, allowing multiple species to share the same landscape without direct competition. Although part of the Great Migration, Thompson's gazelles follow shorter and far more flexible routes than the other grazers. They often remain longer in the southern Serengeti, especially after the rainy season, thanks to their drought tolerance and specialized diet. They don't need to travel vast distances to find sustenance. Still, they depend on surface water, which limits their range. As the streams begin to dry, they adjust their paths but stay within manageable distances. Their small size, ranging from just 15 to 35 kilograms, gives them an advantage, allowing swift and energy-efficient movement across the dry, hardened terrain. Their signature leap, known as stotting, where they spring high into the air with stiff legs, is more than a display of agility. It's both a warning to the herd and a tactic to confuse predators during pursuit. Capable of reaching speeds up to 70 kilometers per hour and combining sudden zigzag jumps, these gazelles are far from easy prey. Yet even such agility is sometimes no match for the cheetah. Unlike other predators, cheetahs do not closely follow the great herds. Instead, they constantly adapt their hunting grounds to the movements of their prey. When the wildebeest herds flood the western corridor of the Serengeti, cheetahs often shift southward in search of stragglers and smaller prey. As the herds push deep into the Masai Mara, They must cross vast open plains prime territory for the cheetah and its favorite quarry, the Thomson's gazelle. A cheetah's success rate in hunting tommies reaches around 58%, significantly higher than that of lions or leopards. Still, many hunts end in failure when the gazelle reacts in time or when the chase exceeds the cheetah's brief burst of endurance. Beneath the blazing skies of the Masai Mara, Thomson's gazelles scatter across the open fields, their slender bodies shimmering in the heat. Among the golden grasses, a cheetah crouches low, muscles tense beneath its spotted coat. Its lean frame flows like air over the earth. The black tear lines, running from its eyes to its muzzle, cut the glare of the sun. Then, its gaze locks onto a young gazelle that has strayed too far from its mother. It moves effortlessly against the wind, using the soft undulations of the land to close the distance until it's barely 40 meters away. Its spine, coiled like a spring of steel, releases in an instant. Semi-retractable claws grip the ground as its body launches forward, reaching speeds of up to 97 km/h in just 3 seconds. Its long tail lashes through the air like a rudder, keeping balance as the gazelle twists and turns in desperate zigzags. Shoulders and knees absorb every jolt, shifting direction in the blink of an eye. With one final burst of strength, the cheetah sweeps its front paw across the side of its prey. The gazelle stumbles and crashes down in a cloud of dust. The chase lasts less than a minute, yet every second captures the pinnacle of speed, precision, and evolutionary perfection, the ultimate display of the fastest hunter on Earth. Unable to defend its meal from stronger predators, the cheetah eats in haste. After making a kill, it has barely 10 or 15 minutes before spotted hyenas or lions catch the scent and arrive to claim the prize. Its light frame and partially retractable claws aren't built for fights over carcasses. So it retreats, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom, a survival strategy to conserve energy and live to hunt another day. The Great Migration is famous not only for the immense herds of moving antelopes, but also for the fierce clashes between hunters and prey. This is the law of nature: the strong endure, the weak fall behind. Yet, those who perish give life to others, sustaining the eternal cycle that nourishes the very ground where they fall. This is the Great Migration, as we know it, Earth's most iconic mass movement of wildlife. But Africa hides other, lesser-known journeys, hidden jewels of the wild. Among them is the Liwa migration, the continent's second-largest movement of blue wildebeests. Unlike the perilous crossings of the Serengeti, where each river becomes a gate to danger, the Liwa migration unfolds more calmly, like a vast, peaceful pilgrimage toward promised pastures. The goal, however, remains the same: to find safe ground for birthing and enough nourishment to raise the next generation. By October, when the first rains seep into the cracked earth, Liwa's grasslands awaken. The scent of fresh sprouts blends with the damp aroma of the soil nature's unmistakable call. From every direction, over 45,000 blue wildebeests, joined by smaller herds of plain zebras and Lechwe antelopes, begin their journey southward, heading for the open plains. From the dry belt bordering Angola, blue wildebeests surge forward like a living river of muscle and motion, flowing south and southeast. They cross the vast Barotse floodplain, follow the branches of the Lubimba River, and move toward the seasonal lakes that pulse at the heart of the plains. It's a route carved by nature over millennia, leading to places where the first rains bring forth tender shoots of grass, rich in nutrients, the lifeline for the newborns soon to arrive. The Liwa migration may lack the thunderous drama of the Serengeti, but its quiet grace carries a sacred rhythm, steady, purposeful, and filled with hope, as if guided by the unseen hand of creation itself.